Hi everyone, so I'm Holly with Missouri River Soap, and today I am doing a test batch of one of our very favorite new fragrances from our rainbow release, and that was the Toot Your Unicorn. And we made this in wax melt macarons I guess, and it was such a good scent. I just made myself a candle in this scent. I've sold more of like the wax melt when I was doing a made to order type, and several people ordered it then, and it's just so good. It's a mixture of raspberries and blueberries and goji berries and cotton candy and spun sugar and vanilla, and it's just so amazing. Now it says it only has 0.4% vanillin in it, and that should be typically okay to work with, but sometimes that vanillin number isn't always exactly the number that you need to know for whether a soap's going to brown or not. Sometimes it's just going to do it anyway. And because there's so many sweet notes in it, it's possible that it's going to brown even further. So that's why I'm just doing a small test batch, but I'm doing a fun small test batch with lots of colors. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to add in some titanium dioxide. I'm going to tap in out the air bubbles. Now what I'm doing is just adding some titanium dioxide to the base oils for right now. It's really making this table sing. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add in the coconut milk. I love coconut milk in soap. It's my favorite. I'm just using this square pitcher or square pot today, little container, because I thought it might help me out with the swirl I'm doing. I thought it might give me a little bit more surface area to work with. This is only going to be for one loaf. That way if it goes super dark and ugly, we haven't committed too much. Fragrance. We'll see what happens. Some of the reviews said that it just worked very nicely. There was no discoloration. Oh my word, it smells so amazing. I hope this works out because I'm pretty sure you guys are going to want this in soap too. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was requested after the holiday release also, but I definitely want to do it too. It smells so good. Alright, so it's a little bit thick, but this is a very small amount of soap, so it's very easy for it to thicken up from the stick blending. Now I am wanting my colors to be a bit pastel. That's why I went ahead and added it all in. Okay, so I have all the typical rainbow colors. And I really don't need very much to get the job done. Whoa, that's probably too much because I do still want it to be a red base. That's silly. A white base. So I'm using mostly neons here. The only exception is with the blue, because in my experience the blue neons don't do anything but kind of go a dusty blue. All right, I'm gonna clean this up and I'll come back to you. Okay, let's see what we can get accomplished. I did mix up that mica, not mica, it's a pigment, the neons. I mixed them in pretty good with some little bit of oil. So I should not need to stick blend this at all. The exception might be the blue, which I've used some ultramarine blue. So I may need to use a little mini blender to disperse that, because I find that the ultramarines like a little bit of a blend to really disperse, and that's typically the case with the pigments also, but they were blended in super well with the oil, so I'm not concerned about it. Sometimes they can be a bit speckly, and you definitely want to give them that extra oomph, but this is looking pretty good. I don't see any speckles in there. Such beautiful colors. I am a sucker for rainbows. And of course it would be one of the NYX soaps I do to jumpstart my new year and new season. My word. Whoa. I'm looking up the camera to make sure I'm in focus. It starts spilling all over the place. Sheesh. Got to keep your eyes on your work. Okay, and last one here, the orange. Oh, it's beautiful. I love this. I love it. There's just something about starting to create soaps again after the holidays. It just is like, it's so freeing and exhilarating to not be held under any kind of holiday-ish fall restraints. But we do typically move into Valentine's, and of course the Easter season is coming up also. This would be really great for that season. Okay, so I'm going to do, I'll do this so you guys can see. I'm gonna do an in the pot swirl with all of these colors, but I want to keep them somewhat separated if possible, and I would like a little bit of this color for the top. I just can't help myself with this one. This is just a disaster. I'm gonna try to keep all their colors somewhat together. That way if they swirl, it's still delightful. So I'm just gonna go in rainbow order still. It's been ages since I've made a rainbow in the pot swirl. I remember one of the first ones they did was for one of those challenges. Oh, that really dates it. It goes back a ways. And I think I used the citrus, let's see, Energy from Brambleberry, which is so easy to work with. And I did an 8 or 9 color swirl, I think. All right. So left a little bit for the top. Is that not gorgeous? Might have to stop and take a picture of that. Hold on a moment. All right, so I'm back with my simple wood mold here. And it's a nice fluidity, so I think it's going to be just what we want. Let's see how we want to. Maybe I will just pour from this end. So the pink's gonna go in first. Let's do the green. And so you'll notice the green is opposite of the pink. Those like to get a little bit wonky. Everybody's kind of in their opposite direction. So are you ready? Here we go. Okay, we've got to do this better so that you can like see the pour better. Oh my word. It's so pretty. I think I'm gonna move with it just a little bit here. Oh yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. So you can see the inside looking beautiful still. Oh my word, hallelujah. Just hallelujah. Oh, making messes, making messes. Gotta be real careful scraping it down. Like I want to scrape it, but I don't want it to get too wonky. Okay, yeah, that's good. That is good. I get a little excitable when rainbows come together. All right, so what I want to do here is just scoop out a little bit of this color that's remaining in the cup. Just kind of get it all drizzled on there. Take my little handy dandy skewer here. These are so handy to have around. Just to clean up those edges a little bit. And then, kind of a hard time seeing what's going on here, but I'm just going to move it about just a little bit. Just enough to swirl those colors. This texture. Who knew you could get so excited about textures, right? Just want to move it a little bit is all. That's all I'm doing, just a little bit. And then I'm going to spritz it with some biodegradable glitter because pretty much have to. I mean, it is a unicorn themed soap after all. All right, so there we have my Toot Your Unicorn soap. I'm trying to turn it towards you, but I don't want it to get weird. Okay, so there we have our Toot Your Unicorn soap, and I will be back for the cut. All right, so I'm here to cut this test batch, and as I suspected, this one turned to the dark side. So it's definitely a huge change over what it was. It's just very yellow. This has been sitting out of the mold for a couple days, and it's just very yellow and kind of icky. The scent has morphed. It's not the gorgeous sweet scent that it was, but I'll have to see how it goes throughout the entire cure to see if it might be something worth working with the discoloration. But my thought process right now is that it's not worth it. So this is why you have to test on your own. Again, it had fairly low vanillin, but it's such a sweet scent that I could not believe that it wasn't going to turn brown, and so turns out I was right. I also read the reviews, and one person said they had zero discoloration from it. So I don't know if they used vanilla stabilizer possibly, but I mean, I'm telling you, this is not the nicest soap in the world. Not the prettiest. It's still gonna work well, and you know, we're gonna use it as a family, and that's why I don't mind situations like this, because we will use it up because we need soap too, you know. We tend to test little end pieces and then sell all the rest. So we usually get the batches that do wonky things. I mean, it's still kind of cool. I mean, I like the design. I'm going to redo the design in a different scent sometime. It definitely smells better on the inside than it does on the outside. So we'll just have to see how it changes. But the main point of the video was, and why I did it, is to show you how important it is to test fragrances. I probably should have gone with a smaller batch, but I didn't. So we will have a large batch of swirly, crazy yellow / pukey brown color. So in the end, we will use it up. But you can't always trust vendor or, you know, like supplier information. You can't always trust comments and reviews. I mean, yes, that's definitely a good place to look. You get a lot of great information there, but it's not something you can always trust. So let's talk about vanilla stabilizer for a minute. I don't like this stuff. I know a lot of people use it successfully. I've heard that it doesn't last forever and ever, so you may get a nice result. I used to get a lot of soaps from a particular soap maker friend that used a lot of stabilizer, and I could smell it. It's a very, when I used it, it was a very smelly substance, just so stinky, vanilla stabilizer. And I can smell it in the finished soap, and so that's why I don't use it. You're not supposed to be able to smell it in the finished soap, but I've been asked on a couple occasions why I don't use stabilizer, and that's why. It's highly stinky in the beginning for me. I smell it in the finished bar, and it's not necessarily long-term results, but other people may have a better experience with it. Alright guys, so there we have our test batch. As it stands right now, I'm probably not going to use our Toot Your Unicorn scent in soap. I will probably just use it specifically in wax, and I don't know, I may find some other products to put it in eventually, but for now I'm thinking that it's a bust. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later.